that be okay?
No. Thank you for playing.
All right, my specialty I chose today because it's run by people that are near and dear to my heart. I see a lot of opportunity in this area, both for us and for our clients to thrive. I was recently told that my disc profile is very much like Oprah's, so in my best Oprah, I would like you to meet the Research and Development Tax Credit Study! You get a credit, and you get a credit, and you get a credit!
That's awesome.
Okay. Quick joke, because I like to do that. What happens in R&D stays in R&D. What I want you to walk away with from this presentation is not necessarily a deep understanding of the credit itself. I just want you to know what activities qualify, what things your client might say that should trigger you to think R&D, what industries most frequently utilize it, and then who to call once you determine it's appropriate. So we always start with why, right? Why does your client want to have an R&D study? And the answer is pretty simple. It's cash. It's money. Your tax credit is a dollar-for-dollar reduction in your liability. One of the cool things about the credit is that if you run across a prospect or a current client that we may have overlooked, you can go back 3 years and then return to take advantage of this tax credit. So you can get refunds for them for previous years. And then the other thing is that even if they're still in the startup phase and they're not making any money, we can still perform the study and then bank that credit to carry forward in future years, up to 20 years. So it may not be valuable this year, but they'll be able to use it in the future. The types of projects that would be eligible, and it's not necessarily the lab coat situation. We're talking about new products, new processes, improvements to those products and processes, new formulas, new techniques, and then in some cases, internal use software. Warren Averett actually takes the R&D credit for RPW. You're probably very familiar with that. More familiar than you want to be. Things that don't qualify: research after commercial production, any reverse engineering, any quality control costs, and then any research that's actually funded by someone else. That's going to be their credit, that's not your credit. Another joke, because I love a good joke. Maybe the world not quite ready for the 36-blade razor. Okay, so what costs are we talking about that would qualify for the calculation? Wages, supplies that might be consumed in the testing of the new process or actually making the prototype. And then if you're paying someone else to do research for you, you get 65% of that as qualifying costs. So what might your client say that should trigger you to think, okay, we need to dive a little deeper into this? The first one is the one that I hear most frequently. We didn't like what was out there, so we made our own. And whether that's software or a product, it could be anything. We're working on a patent for X. We hired a software engineer. We hired a mechanical engineer. We made it faster, better, stronger, lighter, quieter, more attractive, all things I want in my second husband.
If anybody knows anything, anybody that meets that qualification, please.
Look at the match. You guys are my referral source. Okay. So what happens once you've identified that your client might benefit from an R&D study? First, we do the feasibility work. You're going to get your subject matter expert. You're going to get your client. We're going to put them in a room together. We're going to put them on the phone. We're going to make sure we actually have an activity that's going to qualify for this credit. And then these are the 4 phases of actually doing the study. So our people are going to first go out, conduct interviews with employees, and get a good understanding of what the project is. Second, we're going to qualify. We're going to document why it actually qualifies for the R&D credit. Third, we go through the process of identifying the expenses that qualify. And then fourth, we're going to give them a report that's going to support their credit they're taking on the return. So they're going to have substantiation and documentation if it gets challenged. Okay, sorry. Right, so there's some niche firms that do a lot of this, but what we found is that we can do better work and we can do it cheaper. So, just due to the volume that they are actually doing, they can take some more aggressive positions and maybe do some things that, we're not comfortable having our clients taking on that risk. They're playing a little bit of audit roulette, and we don't want our clients to have to deal with that and being the one that gets caught, So we want them to have these solid defensible positions, and to date, none of our credit studies have been challenged by the IRS. So that's a good record. Yeah, it's fun, you can read it. So what I want to do now is introduce you to the liars, morons, and thieves that work with us and actually do these credits. Floyd Holloman and David Grander in our Birmingham office. Jared Sharp is actually in my office up in Huntsville. And then Michelle Parks is here in Montgomery. I work with Jared frequently. I work with Dave frequently. Great guy. He's really easy to work with. Had drinks with Floyd. He seems nice. And I'm looking forward to getting to know Michelle while I'm here. So these are all people that you can contact if you need to get a little bit more information about the credit or need them to talk to your clients. Okay. So, just keep in mind that we're not just talking about lab coats here. Anything could qualify, so just keep your ears open for those phrases. Obviously, manufacturing, health services, sciences, etc. Those types of things are most frequently utilized, but we have, an accounting firm is taking it. Jared does one for a designer of children's clothing, so it really could be anything. And it doesn't just have to be successful, failures count too. So if you've got R&D that didn't actually result in a product, that's okay. So again, these are your people. Utilize them, and let's get some of this in the door now that it's been made permanent. And on a side note, Jared just made member, and they're looking for somebody at our level that has an interest in it to sort of step up and start being that client-facing person. So if anybody here has an interest in it, get on the phone with these guys. I think it's going to be big. That's it.
All right, give it up for questions, comments.